Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you said something by mistake and ended up hurting someone's feelings? Personally, I myself have been in this situation many times. Let me ask you another question. Have you been in a situation where you have to convince your friends to play your favorite sport? Probably yes. Even if you haven't faced any of the above situations, you might have tried to convince others in different situations. But if we are not careful with our words, instead of convincing, we might end up hurting them. So in today's video, I am going to share some principles so that you can learn to convince others, impress them, and get yourself a lot of friends. All the principles that I will share today will be from the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is one of the best-selling books in the world. In fact, I am really influenced by the principles that has been shared in this book. And I'm sure that you will also learn a lot from today's summary. So watch the video till the end, and I am sure that you will not regret it. Part 1. Fundamental Techniques in Handling People. Principle 1. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. 99 times out of 100, people don't criticize themselves for anything, no matter how wrong it may be. When you criticize people, they often feel attacked and tend to become defensive. Criticism can wound the pride of people and hurt their sense of importance. People don't see themselves as a bad person, no matter how others see them. Even vicious criminals think that they are right. So instead of blaming others, trying to understand and finding out why they act the way they do is more helpful. It leads to sympathy, tolerance, and kindness. Remember, understanding leads to forgiveness. So, if even God doesn't judge us until the end, why should we? Principle 2. Give honest and sincere appreciation. Everybody likes appreciation and they want to feel being important. Charles Dickens, a great writer, wrote many immortal novels because of his desire of feeling of important. This same desire makes you want to wear the latest styles, drive the latest cars, and buy latest gadgets. People desire to be appreciated, and this is a reason that small acts of kindness and appreciation can easily win over people. The desire to feel appreciated and valued is deeply ingrained in human nature. So next time when you find opportunity to appreciate people, don't miss it and they will love it. Principle 3. Arouse in the other person an eager want. Let's say you like to watch movies with coffee and popcorn, but your friend Jim is more interested in swimming. If Jim invites you to go swimming every weekend, will you be interested? Maybe not. Just like you, everyone is interested in their own things. Other people will show interest when you show them what they want. This is not only true for humans, it applies for all, whether it's children, calves, or chimpanzees. Ralph Waldo Emerson and his son once tried to move a calf into a barn. Emerson pushed and his son pulled, but the calf refused to move. Instead of moving, calf stiffened his legs and stubbornly refused to leave the pasture. An Irish maid saw what was happening and she had a better idea. She thought about what the calf wanted, so she gently put her finger in the calf's mouth and let the calf suck her finger. This made the calf feel like a caring mother, so it followed the maid who gently led him into the barn. Emerson and his son made a simple mistake by only thinking about what they wanted. If you only think about what you want, you will fail to raise interest of people. Remember that. The best way to influence other people is to talk about what they want and help them achieve it. For example, if you don't want your children to smoke, don't lecture them or talk about what you want them to do. Instead, show them how smoking might stop them from being good at their favorite sports. Like you can tell them, if you smoke, you won't be good at basketball. Part 2. 6 ways to make people like you. Principle 1. Become genuinely interested in other people. The New York Telephone Company made a detailed study of telephone conversations to find out which word is the most frequently used. The word I was used 3,900 times in 500 conversations. This shows that people are more interested in expressing their own thoughts, experiences, and perspectives, rather than focusing on others. Let me ask you a question. When you see a group photograph that you are in, whose picture do you look for first? Probably yourself. So like you and me, other people are also be interested mostly in themselves. So, here's the thing. People are naturally attracted towards those who show a sincere interest in them. If you show sincere interest in them, you will start making more friends. If you want to make more friends, you have to put in efforts and do things that will require time, energy, and unselfishness. A small, pleasant gesture or doing small things of their interests could make them like you. For example, when someone calls you, show them how happy you are that the person called. Principle 2, smile. Have you ever come home and seen your dog wagging its tail and jumping around with excitement? Probably. Yes. They're so happy to see us. And when we see them acting that way, we naturally feel happy to see them too. Smile also works in the same way. When you smile, it's like saying, I like you, you make me happy, I am glad to see you. So don't forget to smile, whether you are in home or at your work. Smile costs nothing, but it can create an everlasting impression. Principle 3. Remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. A person's own name holds a special significance to them. Hearing their own name is pleasing and important because it's something personal to them. Remembering and using someone's name is a subtle but powerful way to compliment people. However, forgetting or misspelling name can put you in a bad position. For example, when an author organized public speaking course in Paris, letters were sent to Americans living there with their names filled in by French typists who made mistakes. One man who was the manager of a big American bank was upset because his name was spelled wrong. He felt disrespected and less valued. If you want to build a connection with people and make them feel valued and respected, always remember their name, and whenever you meet them next time, greet them by their name. Remembering someone's name shows that you value and respect them as an individual. It makes them feel acknowledged and important in your eyes. Principle 4. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. Mrs. Henrietta Douglas was a regular customer of a department store in Chicago. She had purchased a coat at a special sale. After she had brought it home, she noticed that there was a tear in the lining. She came back the next day and asked the sales clerk to exchange it. The clerk refused to listen to her complaint. She said, "You bought this at a special sale and all sales are final." "But this was damaged merchandise," Mrs. Douglas complained. "Makes no difference," the clerk interrupted, saying, "Final's final." Mrs. Douglas was just about to leave the store angrily, swearing to never come back again. But then the manager of the department greeted her. The manager listened attentively to the whole story, examined the coat, and then said, "Special sales are final, but this no-return policy does not apply to damaged goods. We will certainly repair or replace the lining, or if you prefer, give you your money back." Just by listening patiently, the manager was able to retain the regular customer that could have been lost forever. So if you want to be interesting to others, be a good listener. Show interest in others. Ask them questions. They'll enjoy answering. Encourage them to talk about themselves and you will make more friends. Principle 5. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. This principle suggests that to effectively connect with others, you should focus your conversations on topics that interest them. By doing so, you demonstrate empathy and consideration for their needs and preferences. For example, if you're trying to persuade someone to support your idea or initiative, you should frame your argument in such a way that it highlights their interests. This approach makes it more likely that they will be receptive to your message and willing to engage in meaningful dialogue. You can apply same principle with your friends or family members. Talk about their interests, hobbies, experiences, or concerns, and they will love to talk with you. Principle 6. Make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. Humans want to be respected. They want to feel important. If you want to feel important and recognized for yourself, start by treating everyone with respect. Even simple things like talking with respect makes them feel important. Instead of saying, "Do this" or "do that," say something like, "I am afraid to disturb you. Are you willing to help? Can you please? Do you mind if..." These simple things will show that you respect other person. When you are respectful and polite, only few people will refuse your request. Always remember that we all want to feel valued and respected for who we are, but be careful not to make fake compliments. Make others feel important genuinely. Everyone loves genuine compliments. Part 3. How to win people to your way of thinking. Principle 1. The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Imagine you're a restaurant owner and a customer comes in complaining about the quality of your food. What would you do? Would you prefer to defend your restaurant or acknowledge your mistakes? The correct approach is to acknowledge the dissatisfaction of customer by expressing empathy. You might say something like, "I'm sorry to hear that you didn't enjoy your meal. Please allow us another opportunity to serve you, and we won't disappoint you. By agreeing with others, you can avoid the situation of arguments. If you continue argument, and even if you win it by proving your point, you may ultimately lose the respect and trust of the other person. They may perceive you as stubborn, arrogant, or unwilling to consider alternative viewpoints. So the best way is to avoid the argument. Principle 2. Show respect for the other person's opinions. Never say, "You're wrong." When you point at someone and tell them they're wrong, do you think they will be pleased? Maybe not. Instead, they will feel attacked and defend themselves. Even if you use really smart arguments, you won't change their mind because you've hurt their feelings. So instead of directly saying, "You're wrong," use the magic phrase, "I may be wrong. I frequently am." By pointing at yourself first, you are being fair and open-minded. When they notice you admitting you could be wrong, they might be more willing to admit their own mistakes too. Principle 3. If you are wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. Dale Carnegie had a little bulldog named Rex. One day, they were in the park without Rex wearing a muzzle and leash, which was against the rules. A policeman saw them and warned Dale that it's against the law to let the dog run free without a muzzle and leash. He said if he caught them again, Dale would have to face the judge. Dale agreed and promised not to do it again. But Rex loved running around freely, so Dale let him off the leash once more. Unfortunately, they were caught by the same policeman again. This time, Dale admitted his mistake right away and said he was ready to accept the fine. He acknowledged that Rex could have caused harm and he should have been more careful. Surprisingly, the policeman was understanding this time. Instead of giving Dale a fine, he said that letting the dog run free might be tempting, and that a small dog like Rex wouldn't harm anyone. When you admit your mistakes before other person, they no longer can point at your guilt to feel important. Instead of this, they will show generosity to remain relevant. In the above story, policeman, like any person, wanted to feel important. So when author admitted his mistake, it made him feel good about himself and showed mercy rather than being furious. So next time when you do mistake, admit it quickly and emphatically. Principle 4. Begin in a friendly way. There is a short story about the sun and the wind. They quarreled about who was the stronger. The wind said, "I'll prove I am stronger. See the old man down there with a coat? I bet I can get his coat off him quicker than you can." So the sun went behind a cloud, and the wind blew until it was almost tornado. But the old man held his coat tightly as the wind blew harder. Finally, the wind gave up, and the sun came out. The old man was relaxed and took off his coat. Looking at the old man, sun told the wind that being gentle and friendly is stronger than being forceful and angry. There's one famous saying of Abraham Lincoln, "A drop of sweet honey catches more flies than a bucket of bitter water." So in any situations, be friendly and you will catch more friends. Principle 5. Get the other person saying yes, yes immediately. When you're talking to someone, don't start by talking about what you disagree on. Instead, focus on what you both agree on. Try to get the other person to say yes to what you're saying. The more yeses you get from them, the more likely they are to listen to what you have to say in the end. When someone says yes a lot, they're more likely to keep agreeing with you. Try not to let no get in the way of finding common ground. Principle 6. Let the other person do a great deal of the talking. Many people who want to convince others often talk too much. Instead, let the other person do most of the talking. Even if you disagree, don't interrupt them. It's risky because they won't listen to you while they're still focused on sharing their own ideas. So, listen carefully and openly. Be sincere about it and encourage them to share everything they want to say. If you do this, they will feel respected. When you allow people to express themselves, they will also listen to you and give you attention. Principle 7. Let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers. People have more faith in the ideas they discover themselves than in the ideas that are given to them. We all care more about our own ideas than other people's. If you want someone to reach a conclusion, ask them questions in such a way that they feel like it's their own idea. For example, if you want your friend to choose pizza for dinner, you might ask, "What kind of toppings do you like on your pizza?" This makes them feel like they're making the choice, but you still get what you want. Principle 8. Try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. Putting yourself in someone else's shoes can help resolve conflicts in various situations. For example, you and your siblings might have argued many times about watching your favorite TV show. But have you ever thought like this? Maybe they also really want to watch their favorite show, and if you allow them to watch their favorite show, how happy they will be? If you can see things from other people's point of view, they'll be thankful to you. This is the idea that works in any situation, whether it's at home or in business. Remember that honestly, seeing through others' point of view will make you an understanding person, and people love those who understand their perspective. Principle 9. Be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires. Wouldn't it be nice if there is a magic phrase that could stop all the arguments? Well, there is one. The magic phrase is, "I totally understand why you feel that way. If I were in your shoes, I'd probably feel the same." Saying this can calm down even the grumpiest person. Imagine if you had the same life, experiences, and personality as the other person. You feel same as him. You would think same as him, and your personality will be just like him. We're all shaped by our experiences and circumstances, so it's important to understand and empathize with others. Remember that 3 out of 4 people you will ever meet are hungering and thirsting for sympathy. Give it to them, and they will love you. Principle 10. Appeal to the nobler motives. People love to listen their good sides. When you talk about their good side, they are more inclined to agree and cooperate with you. If you present your request or argument in a way that matches someone's morals, ethics, or other positive values, they're more likely to listen to you. This is because they can feel good about agreeing with you, knowing it aligns with their values. Suppose you're seeking assistance from someone for a community project. You could tap into their sense of community pride and their desire to contribute positively to the neighborhood. By highlighting the meaningful impact their involvement could have on the community's well-being, you're more likely to inspire their participation and support for the project. When dealing with people, always remember that people can be biased. So when you know their inner motives, you can influence them by presenting what they secretly want. Principle 11. Dramatize your ideas. Have you felt how movies and TV grab your attention with drama? If you want people to notice you, you've got to do the same. Imagine you want to convince your family to take a vacation to a specific destination. Instead of simply listing the attractions and activities available there, you could paint a picture of what the vacation would look like. You might describe the breathtaking landscapes, the exciting adventures, and the unforgettable experiences you could share together as a family. You could show them photos or videos and say how exciting it will be. By dramatizing your ideas, you can persuade others to go along with your suggestion. If you want something to be done, just stating facts isn't enough anymore. You have learned to dramatize things and make it exciting. Principle 12. Throw down a challenge. People love to compete, and they love winning even more. The best way to accomplish things is by encouraging competition. A desire to excel and face challenges can motivate people to acquire things. Challenging individuals could bring out their best qualities. Theodore Roosevelt, 26th President of the United States, once considered to drop from president candidacy. But his political friend Collier Platt challenged him by questioning his bravery. Roosevelt didn't back down, and the rest is history. The lesson is that if you want to make someone do something, challenge them. It ignites their motivation and resilience, unveiling their true potential. Part 4. Be a leader. How to change people without giving offense or arousing resentment. When you start a conversation or interaction with someone, begin by acknowledging something positive about them or their work. This sets up a stage where the other person will be more receptive to what you have to say. If you have to point out mistakes, instead of saying it directly, try to address the issue in an indirect manner. Be emphatic, and that you understand people can make mistakes. This will prevent the other person from feeling attacked or becoming defensive. It will be easier for them to accept feedback and make improvements. The other way to point someone's mistake is by admitting your own faults or mistakes first. This can make the other person feel less judged and more open to receiving criticism or feedback. Trying to command someone to do something is generally ineffective. Instead of this, the effective approach is to frame your requests as questions. For example, instead of saying, "Do this task now," you can ask, "Could you please take care of this task when you have a moment?" This makes the other person feel like they have control and are part of making decisions, so they're more likely to go along with what you're asking. One thing that you should avoid is humiliating or embarrassing someone, especially in front of others. If there is conflicting situation, instead proving them wrong in front of other people, handle conflicts privately. This will preserve the other person's dignity. They will be thankful for saving their dignity. Acknowledge and appreciate even small steps or improvements made by the other person. This reinforces positive behavior and encourages continued progress. Inspire others to excel by highlighting their strengths and potential. By expressing confidence in their abilities, you encourage them to strive for greatness. Offer constructive feedback and support in a way that makes it seem manageable for the other person to address their shortcomings. This reduces feelings of overwhelm and increases motivation to make changes. When making a request or suggestion, emphasize the benefits or positive outcomes for the other person. Help them see how fulfilling your request aligns with their own interests or goals. This is it for this video. Thank you for watching till here. If you liked the video, please feel free to subscribe the channel. It costs nothing but inspires me to create more videos. Thank you and see you soon in another video.